Hey, just as a quick heads up for this video, it's just for entertainment value. My opinion does not matter. Thank you. Enjoy the video. Hey, what's going on? Originally, this was going to be a kind of part 2 to my series of How Long Does It Take, where I was going to play through Portal 2, which I did end up playing through, but honestly, I didn't enjoy the game, which might be hard to hear because the game is and was very popular and highly rated. But this video is just going to be talking about what I don't like about it, just kind of personally. Let's just start from the beginning and we'll go from there. So starting off the game, the story in the beginning is actually quite interesting with the first couple cutscenes. Pretty much you're like in a little like chamber where you're just kind of being kept alive but are in like a, a sleep type state. And eventually get woken up by a robot. I don't remember his name, but you get woken up, you get taken around a little bit because you weren't supposed to be there that long. Eventually you look for a way out, because that's apparently what he wants to. So you go look around, you get the portal gun from a random room, and then you just start kind of roaming around with him until you end up kind of back in test chambers. Eventually, it returns to a state kind of like the first game, where after doing a lot of the chambers from the first game, or I say a lot, like 5 or 6 from the first game, you eventually find yourself in the same room where you beat the boss of Portal 1. So in this room, you're hanging out, everything's fine. Eventually, I'm pretty sure the robot guy you're with like turns something on, and that makes the robot come back to life. So then you start getting put through tests again, because, she wants her kind of revenge after you killed her in the previous game. So after doing more tests for quite a while, honestly, I think it's probably about an hour of just straight tests, which is fine, that's what the game's about. That part wasn't bad. Alright, it wasn't bad. My issue with the first part of the game up to this point is that the very start of the game, even until like kind of halfway through these challenges, or these chambers, is really boring. Because the first cutscene you get after the opening cutscene is not until you meet back with the original boss, which you don't do till about an hour into the playthrough. So that first hour gets really boring really quickly, because pretty much none of the puzzles are challenging at all, and they take forever, and there's a lot of them to do. To sum up the rest of the game as quickly as possible, because it somehow gets more boring, personally, eventually you corrupt the boss, like the first boss, and then you can put the new robot guy that you've been traveling with this whole time into the body of the boss. So you do that, and wow, very readable plot twist incoming. Yeah, the new guy turns evil. So then the back half of the game is doing about 700 more chambers, which is a snooze fest. Trying to get back to him, and then eventually fight the final boss, which is, don't get me wrong, the final boss here is way better than the first game, but it still leaves a little bit to be desired, personally. But yeah, the rest of the game really doesn't live up to anything else that it spent the rest of the time doing, but it is what it is. Like, eventually I was going to make a full video about it, but after playing through it took me a while to beat the game, and just like there wasn't enough kind of points of interest to talk about because so much of the game was just boring chambers that weren't entertaining. Let me know down in the comments what you think or feel about this game, because obviously it did pretty well overall as a game, like very highly rated, but I just personally didn't enjoy it, so let me know what you think down in the comments, and thanks for watching.